Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, I need to tell you something that might upset you. But stick with me, because what I'm about to reveal will change everything. If you don't delete these 5 things before 2026, your life won't explode. You won't suddenly fail. Nothing dramatic will happen, but something far worse will occur. You'll stay exactly the same. Same problems, same excuses, same results. And here's what nobody's telling you. Staying the same in a changing world is the most dangerous position you can possibly be in. We're entering a year where AI is exploding, opportunities are appearing overnight, and entirely new careers are being born every single month. Yet most people are still stuck with habits that expired back in 2015. Now, here's the part that'll make you laugh or cry. People queue for 3 hours to buy a new iPhone every year, but they won't upgrade themselves for an entire decade. They'll wait in line for a phone, but won't spend 10 minutes fixing their mindset. So today, we're going to upgrade you before 2026 arrives. There are 5 things you absolutely must delete from your life if you want to grow and not get left behind. And the first one? Oh, this one's going to hurt.
Ladies and gentlemen, before 2026 arrives, there's one thing you must delete from your life immediately. Your toxic, dramatic, unhealthy, over-emotional relationship with comfort. Yes, comfort. The thing that treats you worse than your worst ex ever did. Comfort promises you everything, gives you nothing, and still demands complete loyalty. You know exactly how it works.
Every night you declare, tomorrow I'll wake up at 6 a.m. and start my new life. And every morning at 6 a.m., your bed transforms into absolute heaven. You had massive dreams last night, and now your bed has literally kidnapped you. But wait, it gets worse. Then there's the gym situation. You buy the trainers, the outfit, the water bottle, the wireless headphones. You're ready. You walk into the gym car park thinking, yes, today is my day. But the moment you step out of the car, comfort whispers in your ear, you know what? Start on Monday. And here's the kicker. Every Monday in your life is apparently a public holiday. Monday has never actually seen you. Your gym membership knows you only by name on the direct debit. Then there's Netflix. Now this is where it gets truly dangerous. You sit down for one episode, just one, and 5 hours later, Netflix has the audacity to ask, are you still watching? And suddenly, you feel judged by an algorithm. You know everything about a show you didn't even want to watch in the first place. And don't even get me started on your sofa. That sofa is genuinely dangerous. You sit down for 5 minutes and boom, 2 hours have vanished into thin air. But here's what's really happening. You're scrolling, watching people who wake up at 5 a.m., people who've built businesses, people who've lost weight and turned their lives around. Meanwhile, you're sitting there eating crisps, thinking, good for them. Comfort is turning you into a spectator, not a player. And then there's TikTok and Reels. This one's absolutely deadly. A recent study found that the average person spends around 95 minutes a day scrolling through short videos. 95 minutes. That's not scrolling anymore. That's a part-time job with no pay. Now imagine this for a second. If you spent those same 95 minutes learning a skill, building a business, editing videos, or reading something genuinely useful, by 2026, you'd be absolutely unstoppable. But comfort will never allow that. Comfort whispers, relax, just one more reel. And suddenly it's 1 a.m. Your goals are crying in the corner, your brain is exhausted, and comfort is patting you on the back saying, good job, mate. Yeah, here's something that'll shock you. Cristiano Ronaldo says he never sleeps before finishing his workout. One time, his friends invited him to dinner at 11 p.m. He literally responded, I can come after training. He trains at 11 p.m. That's someone who broke up with comfort years ago. Now here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Comfort feels amazing right now and destroys you quietly later. Discomfort feels terrible right now, but builds you into someone powerful later. Successful people aren't special. They simply don't negotiate with comfort. Virat Kohli completely transformed his lifestyle. He literally deleted junk food, late-night partying, everything, because he wanted to become world-class. Comfort wasn't allowed anywhere near his life. So before 2026, here's what you're really deleting. You're not deleting comfort itself. You're deleting the version of you that chooses comfort over progress, the version that picks entertainment over education, the version that uses sleep as a coping mechanism, the version that says, I'll do it later, so many times that later becomes never. Your dreams are genuinely allergic to comfort. The moment you get too comfortable, your dreams start dying slowly, like a phone on 1% battery. But if you delete this addiction to comfort, even just a little bit each day, something beautiful will happen. You'll start becoming the person your future self will thank you for being. Before 2026, delete your addiction to comfort, or comfort will delete your potential. Ladies and gentlemen, the second thing you must delete before 2026 is this poisonous habit of waiting for the perfect moment. Because let's be brutally honest here. Half of us have been waiting for the right time for so long that the right time has probably blocked us and moved on with its life. You know exactly how this goes. We say, I'll start when things settle down. My friend, things never settle. They never have and they never will. Tell me honestly, how many times have you said this? I'll start when I feel ready. But every time you feel ready, your brain immediately responds, actually not today. It's like your brain is subscribed to Netflix's auto delay feature. Now look around at your life for a moment. Every dream you have right now is stuck behind one sentence. I'll start soon. But soon is the biggest liar in the entire world. Soon means next year. Soon means after you fix your life, which, by the way, you haven't fixed in the last 10 years. Soon means never. And here's the absolutely hilarious part. You delay massive dreams for the smallest, most ridiculous reasons. I'll start my diet after this wedding. I'll start studying after this series finishes. I'll start saving money after my cousin returns that 500 pounds. Which, let's be honest, he never will. You're basically planning your entire future around other people's weddings and your cousin's fictional debt repayment. But here's what's really happening in the world. The world doesn't wait for perfect moments. Nobody wakes up one day with everything perfectly sorted, the sun shining, birds singing, motivation literally dancing around their bedroom. Life doesn't work like a motivational advert. Now think about this for a second. Do you genuinely believe people who made it had perfect timing? Absolutely not. They just stopped waiting. Think about the people around you who are actually doing well. Not celebrities, just normal people. Your friend who started a small business with a used laptop, your cousin who built a side hustle entirely on their phone, your colleague who learned a new skill whilst juggling a full-time job. And here's what they all have in common. These people didn't wait for extra money, extra time, or extra motivation. They started in chaos. They succeeded in chaos. But you know what's even more universal? Every single successful person has a cringeworthy beginning. Their first video was awkward beyond belief. Their first business plan looked like a 5-year-old wrote it. Their first gym session lasted 5 minutes before they nearly fainted. Their first attempt wasn't perfect. It wasn't even close. But that's precisely why they got better, because they started. Here's the problem with most people. They want to jump straight to level 10 without ever touching level 1. They want the results without the process. They want the celebration without the practice. They want the transformation without the beginning. But beginnings are ugly. Beginnings are messy. Beginnings are uncomfortable. And that's exactly why most people avoid them. You want to start posting content? Start with your shaky voice. You want to get fit? Start with your unfit body. You want to build confidence? Start with your zero confidence. You want to launch a business? Start with a cheap phone and free apps. Here's the real secret. You want to get better at anything? Start before you're ready. Because ready is a myth. Nobody feels ready for the things that truly matter. So before 2026 arrives, you need to delete this idea. The idea that your life will magically arrange itself into a perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. There is only a perfect excuse. Start today. Start imperfect. Start without a plan. Start with fear. Start quietly. Start embarrassed. Start unsure. Start tired. Start messy. But start, because one day you'll look back and realize the only wrong time was every single moment you didn't take action. Ladies and gentlemen, the third thing you must delete before 2026 is this sneaky little habit that disguises itself as wisdom, but is actually holding you back faster than a traffic jam on the M25. And that habit is complaining instead of solving. Yeah, complaining. We all do it. You do it. I do it. Your neighbor does it. The bloke selling coffee on the corner does it. Everybody does it. And yet here's the mad thing. Complaining feels like action, doesn't it? It feels like we're doing something productive. I'm frustrated. I'm stressed. I'm angry. Congratulations. You just wasted 15 minutes of your life, and you still have exactly the same problem. Now, the examples are absolutely everywhere. We all know someone like this. The colleague who spends the entire day moaning about the boss but doesn't apply for another job. The friend who complains about their body but doesn't move a single inch toward the gym or the kitchen. The person who complains about money but spends 3 hours scrolling through shopping apps. You know exactly who I'm talking about. And here's what that really is. That's comfort disguised as action, fear disguised as having a voice, and laziness disguised as, I have opinions. But it gets worse. Complaining is genuinely contagious. Once you start, everyone around you joins in. Suddenly you're in a group chat where everyone's main activity is whinging about traffic, inflation, politics, and life. The energy is negative, the motivation is zero, and your goals are slowly evaporating whilst you're all debating who has the worst life story. Here's a funny truth. Social media is basically a giant complaining simulator. We scroll through people moaning about their lives, and we get satisfaction because, hey, at least we're not them, right? But secretly we're copying the habit. We scroll. We complain internally. We feel justified in doing absolutely nothing. And here's what'll happen. By 2026, if we don't delete complaining, we'll be the generation that has excuses for everything and results for nothing. Now let's look at people who actually delete complaining from their lives. Like your mate who started cooking at home instead of moaning about takeaway prices. Every week they post pictures of their food, and now they're healthier and wealthier than the people who just complained about food inflation. Or your cousin who hated their job, but instead of crying about it, started learning a skill on YouTube for 1 hour a day. Fast forward 6 months. They've got clients, projects, and confidence, all because they stopped whining and started acting. Even students. You know the ones who complain about assignments, exams, or teachers? The ones who switch from complaints to action, even just a little bit? They suddenly pass with flying colors. Here's the simple truth. Complaining never solved a problem, but action always does. And the beautiful thing is, action doesn't need to be perfect. Small steps accumulate. Complaints, they evaporate into thin air and leave you exactly where you started. The point is simple. Before 2026, delete complaining from your life. Notice when you're whining, gossiping, or blaming the world. Stop talking about the problem, start looking for the solution. Because here's what you need to understand. Complaining is easy, solving is hard. But easy doesn't change anything. Hard builds you. Easy makes you smaller. Hard makes your life bigger. Easy keeps you in the crowd. Hard makes you stand out. Before 2026, if you genuinely want to grow, if you want to leave average behind, delete complaining. Treat it like deleting a virus from your phone. Delete it, or it will slow your life down until you crash. Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth thing you must delete before 2026 is this invisible trap that feels safe but slowly eats away at your life like termites in wood. And that trap is overthinking and self-doubt. Yes, overthinking. That little voice in your head that turns every small decision into a full-blown epic saga. It's like having a personal film director in your brain, adding unnecessary drama to absolutely everything. Should I post this video? Should I text them back? Should I start this project? And before you know it, hours have passed. Your brain is absolutely knackered, and your life hasn't moved a single inch. Let's be honest here. Overthinking is universal. Everyone does it. You, me, your neighbor. That stranger in the lift is probably imagining 100 ways the floor could collapse right now. Think about these relatable moments. Choosing what to eat becomes a life-altering event. You open the fridge, stare at leftovers, think about calories, think about taste, think about your future health, think about the entire history of the dish, and somehow you end up ordering pizza anyway. Congratulations. Your overthinking just wasted 20 minutes of your life and gave your wallet a workout. But it's even worse with bigger things. People overthink starting a business, moving to a new city, learning a new skill. What if I fail? What if people laugh? What if I waste time? My friend, the only thing that genuinely wastes time is overthinking. Not trying, not failing, not starting, overthinking. And here's the universally hilarious truth. Social media made overthinking 1,000 times worse. Every single day you scroll and see someone posting their perfect life, perfect meals, perfect holidays, and your brain immediately goes, ah yes, I'm clearly not doing enough. Let me analyze 50 ways I'm failing before I've even had breakfast. Congratulations, you've just spent an hour doing nothing whilst feeling absolutely miserable. Now look at ordinary people who got it right. Your classmate who didn't overthink and just applied for that internship, they got it. Your friend who didn't overthink and started a YouTube channel with a phone and zero editing skills, they blew up. Your cousin who didn't overthink and asked someone out, now happily dating. And here's what they all have in common. None of them had perfect timing, perfect skills, or perfect plans. They just started. Imperfect, messy, scared, confused, but they started. Think about the barista who opened a tiny coffee shop in the neighborhood, even though everyone said it was impossible. No overthinking, just action. Today, they've got a queue out the door. Or the neighbor who started running 5 minutes a day despite being overweight, now they run marathons. Or the college kid who made a small website as a side project and eventually landed their dream job. None of them waited for perfect conditions. None of them paralyzed themselves with doubt. Here's the truth. Self-doubt is natural. Overthinking is optional. Before 2026, you must delete this habit. Stop talking yourself out of opportunities. Stop imagining 50 ways it can fail. Stop rehearsing your mistakes before they even happen. Start messy. Start unsure. Start scared. Start imperfect. Because here's what you need to understand. The perfect version of you who never overthinks, he doesn't exist. The perfect moment also doesn't exist. Delete overthinking, delete self-doubt, make small decisions quickly, take imperfect actions, and learn along the way. Ladies and gentlemen, the fifth and final thing you must delete before 2026 is this invisible weight that's quietly holding you back, even when you think everything else is under control. And this one's tricky, because it wears the mask of responsibility, or realism, or being practical. But in reality, it's people-pleasing and seeking approval. Yes, the habit of worrying about what others think before doing anything meaningful. And let me tell you something. Nothing will kill your momentum faster than letting everyone else decide your life for you. We all do it. You know the feeling. You've got a great idea, a small dream, or even a funny TikTok you want to post, but then you pause. What will people say? Will they judge me? What if my friends laugh? And suddenly the post isn't posted. The idea isn't launched. The moment isn't seized. Congratulations. You just turned potential into regret, all for an audience that honestly isn't even paying attention. Look around. This habit is everywhere. Your friend who never shares their talent because people might laugh. Your cousin who doesn't start a business because family might criticize. Your neighbor who doesn't wear what they want because someone might gossip. And here's the kicker. Those people gossiping, half the time they're too busy worrying about themselves to even notice you. Even small things in life show how ridiculous this gets. You choose shoes based on compliments instead of comfort. You post pictures carefully cropped instead of authentic. You mute your opinions in meetings because someone might think you're too ambitious. Your life becomes a careful, filtered version of what others want instead of the wild, messy, exciting thing it could actually be. Here's the relatable universal truth. People who succeed, whether in life, business, or just happiness, stop giving a flying thought to approval. Your favorite Instagram influencer didn't become famous because they asked for permission. That barista opening a tiny cafe didn't run a focus group for approval. The kids starting a podcast in their bedroom didn't get everyone's okay. They just started. Delete this habit before 2026. Stop waiting for validation. Stop curating your life to fit other people's opinions. Stop letting approval decide your actions. It's exhausting. It's unnecessary. And it is literally stealing years from you. Here's what you need to understand. You don't need everyone to like you. You don't need everyone to understand. And you definitely don't need their permission to live the life you're meant to live. Now imagine this for a moment. Imagine a life where you stop caring about the gossip, the side-eye, the silent judgments. Imagine making bold choices, trying things, failing, laughing, and learning without ever asking for permission. That's the life you can have. A life where 2026 becomes a launch pad instead of another year of hesitation. So before 2026, delete comfort, delete waiting for the perfect moment, delete complaining, delete overthinking, and delete the obsession with other people's approval. That's 5 things, 5 invisible chains you're cutting from your life. Do this and you won't just survive 2026, you'll transform it. You'll wake up every morning excited instead of anxious. You'll take action instead of waiting. You'll speak, create, build, and laugh freely. And the best part? You won't just be better, you'll be unstoppable. 2026 is coming. Delete these 5 things, and the world won't know what hit it. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, my friends.